What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Master Crafted. Today we have a special treat. We got the one, the only Ben Neal. Came in second at LVO in a very close game, and the champion of Colorado 40K, in our opinion, one of the best players in the region by far. Thanks for coming on, Ben. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm flattered. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. I bet against you. That was my fault. I already talked about the mistakes of my ways. Never
Don't
bet
do it
against
again.
Ben Neal. I'll never do that again. I swear. You could be running the craziest detachment, and I'll never bet against you. I can't do it in good conscience anymore. I've learned my lesson. Phil, how you doing today, bud?
Good. I'm excited to talk about some Black Templar, maybe, potentially, the new boogeyman on the street. Now that Death Guard and Chaos Knights and Imperial Knights have seen a little bit of a points adjustment leading up into September.
Yeah, they could be primed to step into the limelight with a couple of these adjustments, and we'll see once the data slate drops next month. There could be some rules changes that make some of those other factions hurt a little bit more. You never know. But right now, Black Templars are looking pretty good, and we want to really dig into that, as well as instead of just going through the normal let's talk about your games, we really want to talk to Ben and get to know the process that he kind of went through and how he got to the list and why he included the things he did, and then maybe reference a couple of situations from games this last weekend and how he was really able to get them to do the things he wanted them to do and how his game plan really worked. So first of all, let's just go ahead. Let's start with the list.
Right. So we have Black Templars is the new codex. Just barely hit the cutoff by 6 hours or so to run for this event. So I've been digging deep into Black Templars after all the leaks came out. My army's been painted as Black Templars for 3 years now. I've never been played as Black Templars before this event, so it's about time. But really, overall, super excited with the book. Not necessarily the detachments in there, because unfortunately those are kind of a miss. But the data sheets and just playing those out of the normal Marine detachments, Gladius, Iron Storm, Stormlance, that was all really interesting to me. So I've been doing a lot of play testing with that. Settled on just good old Gladius. Can't go wrong with it. Love it or hate it. It's probably the best that Marines have and are ever going to have. It's just got everything.
It's such a good detachment. It has every tool. But if we look, I'm going to run through your list, Ben, so we can kind of get an understanding. I'll run through it quickly, and then you can give us some thoughts on why you took the things you took. Because we've talked about a lot of these units when we were going over your list in the list review last week. But we'll go through it again so everyone is familiar. Got a Captain in Gravis armor with Artificer armor, so 2-up save, 5-up feel no pain, pretty good. Double Castellan, Chaplain Grimaldus, Emperor's Champion, a lieutenant with combi weapon, the fundamental Space Marine character. It is too good to leave at home. 2 Marshals, 2x5 Assault Intercessors, very interestingly, with Hand Flamers and Power Fists, an Impulsor, 1 pack of JPI, 5-man, 1 Ballistus Dreadnought, 1 Gladiator Lancer. Obviously, it's the Black Templars one, so it's got to have a Melta on top. 2 Repulsor Executioners, a Scout Squad, and 2 4-man Sword Brethren. So that is the list. Comes out to 2,000 points, right on the nose, and seems like it functions, obviously, very, very well. So, Ben, talk us through. What are some of the big decisions you made when building this list?
Right, so pretty much the main kind of theory behind this list is that it wants to be a trading list, but not of just, small skirmish units. This one wants to be, okay, I'm going to put a Captain in Gravis armor on the center objective, and it's going to take the opponent a significant investment to get rid of this guy, or he's just going to score me points. And same idea with the Ballistus Dreadnought. It's also something that can go stand on my expansion or on the middle, and it takes a significant investment for the opponent to get rid of, and then I can jump on them with 2 Repulsors, a Lancer, or any of the various melee units that are coming out of those things. So it actually trades very well between it's fast with advance and charge. The Captain Gravis armor is only 90 points. The Ballistus is 140, but they take a lot more than that to effectively get rid of. And then those Repulsors are coming out, they're shooting with full rerolls, or Sword Brethren are coming out, advancing and charging. And then it's generally able to put someone on the back foot there after that initial trade.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is a pretty hard proposition to give somebody with the uh, captain in Gravis. That 2-up save, 5-up feel no pain, 90 points. You have to trade down. That is a very tough thing to deal with just from the rip. I think that's a great way to start the game. Who really wants to peak with anything that picks that up super easily, especially with two of the best repulsors in the game sitting behind your front line here.
Oh yeah, so he's going in the middle. Right behind him, in whatever closest ruin there is going to be Grimaldus with 5 Assault Intercessors. I know a lot of people were hating on Grimaldus, a lot of Black Templars players and stuff like that on the internet. He is expensive at 110, but his unit with those Assault Intercessors, he's giving 4 rerolls to hit, 4 rerolls to wound, +1 AP, and +1 to wound. And then the main reason that I took him instead of a 3rd Castellan is that if you use the Fight on Death strat from the Gladius detachment on him, it still gives his unit full rerolls from that, but the Castellan does not. Because for the Castellan rerolls, your unit has to be picked to fight. Grimaldus is just, whenever a unit makes a melee attack, they're getting those rerolls. So it's a really good, again, just trading piece of, all right, you charged my Captain and Gravis armor, I'm going to countercharge you or Heroic with Grimaldus. They're going to kill anything on the center with full rerolls, +1 AP and +1 to wound. And then if you try and charge them back, they're going to fight on death and do it all again. Or you're going to shoot at them, and these 3 little idiot servitors have 4-up invuls and 5-up feel no pains, and they're just a huge pain in the ass to get rid of. And again, it's only 185 points for that unit that punches way up.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
That's an amazing trading package.
Yeah. I mean, for me, my first thought was like, oh, yeah, like 10-man Assault Intercessors, that'd be even better. But that's counterintuitive to what you're saying your list wants to do. You want multiple small pieces that can be effective in trades across the board, where the majority of the time your opponent has to trade down into you, and you have the opportunity to obviously clap back with, as Lane said, 2 of the best shooting platforms in the game right now. And very easily get full rerolls to hit, and pick up almost anything. I don't know what a Repulsor Executioner doesn't pick up. I mean, Death Shroud are scared of it. Drones are scared of it. Big Knights are scared of it. Even Dorns, even with flipping damage and saving 1, right? Like, it's still terrifying.
Oh, yeah. And then, the 2 Martial, Castellan, Sword Brethren breaks are probably 2 of the hardest hitting melee units in the game to go alongside those repulsors.
Yeah, your army does hit like a truck for a lot of these units, and is very difficult to remove. Between the Gravis Captain, between Grimaldus's unit, the Lone Op Lieutenant, there's a lot of very cheeky things to try to deal with that have way more durability than what their points would suggest, as well as the Ballistas, as you mentioned earlier. And then it's just a lot of damage that's going to come out and touch you, and it is hard to really take to the face.
So, Ben, I'm curious, when you were building this list, you already talked about some of the roles that you saw so far, but why do you think this list is effective and will continue to be effective, right? Because we're going to see some point changes. We're going to see Knights come down. Armies like this, I would say armies like Eldar, armies like maybe even we might go back to seeing some more GSC on the table. We might go back to seeing some more Votan with that codex coming out, right? Like seeing them hit the table. Where do you think Black Templars, and how do you adjust your list to get ready for this new meta going forward?
It's just super flexible. Half of that from Gladius, and then half of that actually from the new Templars stuff. Like, they don't have Oath. They have all these vows where really you're only going to take 2 of them. It's +1 to wound if your strength is less or equal to their toughness against anything that you want to go be fighting in combat. It's great against Death Guard, Knights, other Space Marines. But then if you go into the Eldar or the Dark Eldar matchup, you just get sticky objectives on all your infantry, which can also help a lot. You don't necessarily need +1 to wound when they're T3. But just having all the sticky objectives, you can advance and do actions, that can also help out as well. And then there's just so many different profiles between Space Marines of you need to kill Knights, you have Sword Brethren or Repulsors, you need to kill Hordes, you also have Repulsors or you have Assault Intercessors, and there's not really anything or any targets that Space Marines really struggle into hitting, just because they have so much variety in their access to their weapons that they have.
Sorry. Okay. Well, so we just keep doing it. So I was holding off. So the last thing we haven't really talked about, what was in the impulsor? I don't know if we actually nailed down what was in there out of your units.
Yeah. So one of the Sword Brethren squads would go in the impulsor. One would go in one of the repulsors that was usually up on one of the flanks, and then the Emperor's Champion with his assault intercessors would go in the other repulsor that was usually kind of back further in my deployment zone, just because he's so much faster. He's got an extra 2-inch move and +2 to charge characters. He can really hang back a little further and still be fast enough to get up into the center or go punch some characters on an objective.
Yeah, I think that sounds super commonsensical. The last thing too, we talked a little bit about this in the video before the event. You know, the assault intercessors with jump packs are just such an amazing utility piece to turn your rerolls on for those repulsors. Did you find that you did need them to do that most of the games? Would you even prefer to maybe have another unit a lot of the times to kind of just play a little cagier and just be able to go, you know, really take the long trades in certain matchups?
Absolutely, yeah. A second squad of those it's always nice. It is a little hard with points because I was like, well, we've got Death Guard and Knights everywhere, so I think I need a little bit more guns. So that's the main reason why the Lancer's in here, just that extra punch. So depending on, you know, the data slate, if Knights and Death Guard get hit a little more, we might be dropping him for some more skirmish pieces, but as of right now, I think Death Guard is still going to be around. Knights are still going to be around. Unfortunately, I'd love to fit another squad, but I think we need more guns still. I mean, that captain right in the middle too. Most of the time, he was the one who was turning on rerolls for the repulsors, just because he's already up in people's face. He's right in the middle of the table. He's happy to go run out and stand in the open and give rerolls to those repulsors, and then take a ton of fire back.
It is so good. The list as well, it seems like it's humming pretty efficiently, obviously going 6-0. When's the next time you're going to take them out? What's your next tournament?
LDO.
Good. Well, I can't wait. Hopefully you get plenty of practice in and stuff like that. I am curious as we wrap this up, Ben, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk about some really interesting detachments. When you go through your testing iterations, what are you looking for when you're evaluating units? Like, how did you select the units that you needed to? Obviously, it's detachment dependent and it's army dependent, but how'd you go about picking what you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just the main thing is just having a good team or a group of people who practice the right way of, hey, we're going to try things out, we're going to see what works. If it doesn't work, we're just going to re-rock real quick, and we're going to make mistakes, and then we're going to go from there and just make sure that everybody is practicing the best that they can, so that when they do get to the tournament, then everybody's playing the best that they can. So really, the main thing is really you want to be losing a lot of your practice games, because that's the best way that you're going to learn how to fix things for the tournament. Because if you're going into your practice games and you're just stomping everyone you play against, you're not really learning that much. But if you're going in against good players, you're taking chances, risks, you're losing, you're learning, that's really the best way to come out on top and do better when you actually go to events.
I think that's totally fair. That is amazing advice. We were planning to ask, you know, what would your advice be to new players? But I think that's it. You know, go play against people who are willing to re-rec. You know, you're searching for those mistakes. You know, go ahead, make them, reset the game, and learn from it. You're not there to try to curb stump each other in a practice game. You're there to learn. It is practice. Treat it as such.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I'm just waiting on you, Phil. Go ahead at any time, bro.
Like, I'll keep talking if you want.
Go ahead, Lane.
Yeah, I think that was a wonderful, like, that is an actually wonderful piece of advice for new players. Too many times people are just so invested in a really more casual setting on trying to really like push it and win the game. And like you were saying, you're learning from losses. You're not learning as much from wins. And so if you're not challenging yourself and putting yourself in those situations, you're not going to improve as regularly. And having a good community to do that is very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the last thing, Ben, that I want to know is if you did have a wish list for the data slate. You know, we got the points adjustments. What do you want to see in the data slate? I think that's a very good question from somebody who actually has a very, very good, you know, finger on the pulse of the game. And what would you like to see?
Let's have a 6-inch deep strike gold. I think that would make everyone very happy. Maybe not Phil, but everybody else,
I don't care.
I think would be very, very happy.
Yeah. I'd even vote for a 7. At least increase it to 7
Yeah,
at a minimum.
something,
You know, it's the
please.
Nurgle number. Come on, that messes with the math just enough
Right.
that I could live with that. And then also just I don't know, require line of sight for hammer for Death
Yeah.
Guard to be able to mark anything. That's the dumbest thing ever. But whatever. PVCs went up a ton, so that does help.
Helps a little
But
bit. Yeah.
yeah. I think that's it. Phil, any wish list items for you before we wrap this up?
No, I think when we see these points changes, I'm pretty happy with the state of the game as we go forward. I just want to see armies get better. So I would like to see AdMech get a little bit of a bump and a little bit of love that isn't like cognizant to points decreases, because I know a few of my buddies have started up AdMech and the amount of units they have on the board is absolutely insane, especially just in the hobbying aspect alone. It just takes way too much time. And I want to see Emperor's Children get access to Predators or Forge Fiends or something that allows them to have long range shooting assets, because I think that army is so good right now, but it's being held back by not having those things. Except for unless your name is John Lennon, because John Lennon apparently just goes into knights and beats knights. But everyone else, I think, struggles in that matchup and would love to have some long range shooting assets.
Yeah, I think that sounds fair. Maybe make flawless blades actually flawless and not get bubble wrapped by guardsmen and not even able to kill them all because they don't have enough attacks. I know Matt would be very happy with that change. That is ridiculous. But hey, anti anything 3-up. That's worth it. That's worth those points. Yeah, I think that is it. Thank you again, Ben, for joining us. It was very insightful. Hopefully, y'all learned something from listening, and it's great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Always a pleasure.
All right, well, if I didn't say it enough already, congratulations again. I'm never betting against you. I made the mistake. Never going to do it again.
As long as you learn.
As long as I learn. And that's what we're here for, is to keep teaching the people, including myself. I learned a lesson this last week. Don't bet against Ben Neal. Now you won't either. And then now you'll make money. The next time Ben goes to an event, do some betting. He's going to win.
We'll see.
But thank you, everybody, again, for riding along with us for this video. Do not forget to like and subscribe. And do not forget that victory isn't given. It is forged, and it's forged right here on Mastercrafted. We'll see y'all next time.